In Soulframe, combat is all about deliberate action and timing. Think more Elden Ring than Warframe. While Warframe is known for its lightning-fast, parkour-heavy gunplay, Soulframe slows things down and asks you to really think about each move you make. You play as an envoy, and your fights lean heavily into melee combat, although there are ranged weapons like bows too. So here's the core of how combat works. You've got standard light attacks for quicker, low-damage hits, and heavy or charged attacks that take longer but pack a punch. Some weapons can also be thrown for ranged damage, which adds a bit of flexibility to your approach. You can hold a block to reduce incoming damage, but if you time your block just before an enemy hits, you'll perform a parry. If you've unlocked the right combat art, more on that in a sec, you can counter with a riposte, dealing heavy damage. Dodging is a big part of survival. If you dodge at just the right moment and have the correct Spectre Strike combat art, you'll perform a powerful counterattack. So, the game rewards precision, not button mashing. As you fight, your weapons gain XP and level up. This unlocks combat arts, passive bonuses or special moves tied to your weapon. These can change how you approach a fight, like letting arrows fly faster or increasing stagger on heavy hits. You grow stronger by investing in 4 main virtues: courage, grace, spirit, and life. Each one affects different aspects of combat. Grace boosts agility, spirit improves soul abilities, and so on. It lets you customize your playstyle. Digital Extremes recently did some changes on the combat mechanics on the game, specifically on the bows. The bows are unique in that they serve dual roles. You can use them in melee or hold block plus heavy attack to shoot arrows. Arrow count is tracked on screen, and bows differ in capacity and special effects. Some recent updates includes Juniper Bow now regenerates arrows while crouching. Blitzel Bow has faster draw speed and requires less hold time for precise shots. And Phase Donu has no more damage falloff and increased stagger on quick shots. Generally, combat in Soulframe isn't just about dealing damage, it's about timing, rhythm, and mastery. If you like reading your enemy's moves and exploiting openings with flair, this system is built for you. While Soulframe has drawn attention for its unique art direction and slower, more thoughtful approach to gameplay, its combat system hasn't been without criticism. As more players get hands-on experience, a number of recurring issues have started to surface, ranging from clunky animations to underwhelming enemy AI. Let's take a closer look at the most common complaints about Soulframe's combat and what might need improvement moving forward. Many players have noted that the combat animations appear unpolished and clunky, leading to a less immersive experience. The transitions between movements are often described as lacking fluidity, making combat feel awkward. Additionally, character movements have been criticized for feeling floaty and disconnected from the environment, which detracts from the overall gameplay experience. In addition, the passive nature of enemies has been a point of contention. Players have observed that adversaries often stand idle or react sluggishly, reducing the challenge and engagement in combat scenarios. This lack of aggression and initiative from enemies diminishes the intensity and excitement that players seek in combat encounters. Also, excessive visual effects during combat are seen to cause visual clutter, making it difficult for players to track the action. Overwhelming flashes and effects can obscure important visual cues, leading to frustration and a diminished gameplay experience. Some players feel that the combat lacks sufficient challenge, especially as characters level up and unlock powerful abilities. The ease with which enemies can be defeated, even when playing solo, has led to concerns about the game's long-term engagement and replayability. In response to these critiques, Digital Extremes has acknowledged the feedback and expressed commitment to refining the combat system. They have emphasized that community input is integral to their development process and are focusing on enhancing combat mechanics and social features to better align with player expectations. Combat is typically the most essential part of any action RPG, and it plays a critical role in engaging players. If Soulframe doesn't nail the combat mechanics, players might quickly lose interest, even if the game excels in other areas, like story, exploration, or world building. It's essential that the combat system be fun, challenging, and rewarding. We all know that players want to feel empowered within the game world. Having a responsive and rewarding combat systems enhance immersion by allowing players to express themselves through their fighting style and skill. A sluggish or unpolished combat system can break immersion, causing players to feel disconnected from their character and the world around them. Honestly speaking, the combat system of Soulframe needs a lot of refinement. We all know that melee combat is not the strong suit of Warframe developers, but at least they are improving it before they release the game. There are many things that has been added to the game right now that makes Soulframe even more interesting every Prelude update. But the game is described as a co-op action hybrid, massive multiplayer online RPG, and I think nailing the action part of the game is crucial to the success of Soulframe. Now, this is just a suggestion, but I really think that Digital Extremes should see and learn some inspiration from games like Ghost of Tsushima. I know this is a very different game, but I think Soulframe should be aiming for the same combat mechanic to make it engaging and immersive. So, the combat in Ghost of Tsushima is really simple. First of all, you'll have different stances that you can combo together. Also, there are visible cues when to parry an attack and when to dodge. It doesn't have any super flashy animation, except for finisher attacks like the Dance of Wrath or during a multiple assassination execution. But even these sort of finisher animations, the combat still looks fluid, clear, and immersive. In Soulframe, we have various weapon types, and I'm pretty sure that Digital Extremes will going to add more in the future. I really think that they should focus on weapon stances also to make it more immersive, rather than just focusing only on bashing an enemy head type of combo. Also, parry mechanics should be one of the main focuses in combat, and they could play around different move types specific for a weapon. Guard break should also be a main focus in Soulframe's combat system, as it's also rewarding for players to make enemies vulnerable with varied attack combos. They can also add equipments in the future, which will make the combat more satisfying. In Ghost of Tsushima, you can use kunai to break the guard of enemies, and you can also use smoke bombs to make enemies susceptible to assassination. In Soulframe, they could add magical equipment to add flavor to the combat system of the game. Mind you, I'm really not saying that the combat system of Soulframe will not be good, as remember, the game is not yet released and it's on alpha testing currently. There is limited access to the game, and I was lucky enough to try the prelude of the game. Honestly, the game is not yet ready for release in its current state. In my opinion, it might take another year to polish the game and hopefully release the game. I just hope that Digital Extremes don't take this the wrong way, as I really want the game to succeed. I just feel like there are more things need to be done, especially on its combat mechanic to make a really great impression to Warframe players, or even to potential new players of the game. The developers are doing their best though in improving the game with each update, and they are even listening to the playtester feedbacks. Hopefully, my suggestions for refining the combat system of Soulframe will get recognized, and I'm really hoping that Soulframe will be great during full release. I was really hoping for a free-to-play action RPG in the past, and Soulframe was announced that I got really excited. I'm hyped because it's created by one of the best game developers in the industry that actually listens to their community, and I was blown away by its art style and possibilities. But then again, it's always better to prioritize substance over form. Soulframe may impress players visually, but it should also make the players stay and play the game.